Hi everyone, right now I'm going to explain about the stakeholder management. So the first one is introduction. So the aim of the presentation itself is to identify what's the difference between the profits-driven company and the non-profitable non-profits organizations. So it also includes with the stakeholder priorities and how they handle the tensions inside them, and yeah, the view of the uses of the AI itself. So for the profit business model, I interviewed Lini as the owner and director of Tugu Sentosa, which is hardware store in Biak, Papua. Currently, they have around 120 employees, and yeah, most of them based in Biak, Papua. For the non-profit one, I interviewed Felicia Ong, which is the leader of the Sun School Damadipa, located in Surabaya. It is a Buddhist organization. So the next one is, who are your key stakeholder? For the question one. So the profit one is mostly a market-driven one. As you can see here, it's about suppliers, customers, employees, and shareholders. While the non-profit one is mostly about members of the communities, parents, monks, and the temple advisors. So for the academic analysis, I'm using the Freeman theory that explains the stakeholders are individually affecting or affected by the organization's objective. And here, the Tugu Sentosa, mostly profit-driven, which is aligned with the shareholders' pragmatic logic by Friedman. And yeah, because they mostly really profit driven and they want to generate a lot of profits, while the other one, non-profits one, it's mostly they want to deliver their value and the spiritual missions itself. So it's also aligned with the stakeholder resilience model by Mitchell, which is legitimacy and urgency are way more important than the profits itself. So the next one is, what are the priorities of the stakeholders? From the profit one, it's mostly about they want to protect their well-being, which is shows from the supplier and shareholders they want to have that profitability, while the employees higher wages and the customer they want the product has a lower price, which is a very like it shows that they want to protect their own well-being. While the other one, for the non-profits one, they want to deliver the value of themselves spiritually to the community. So for example, member of community, monks, and temple advisor, the value of the organizations they want to deliver it correctly to the society. That's the whole priorities, while the parents children to have the spiritual development. So in here I'm using the CSR pyramid, shows that profit-based company tends to prioritize their profitability rather than their mission of the company first. And the other one, the Buddhist community, they are practicing their value missions and philanthropic goal first, and for the profitability they just put it at the back of the priorities. So it's also aligned with the DS theory that explained that social organizations tend to have like prioritizing their value even more and missions rather than their profitability. It's also a plus point for them in the society. So basically, the profit driven company says they started from the bottom of the CSR pyramid, while the non-profit one they start from the top of the pyramid. So it's quite different. For the question three, how they manage the stakeholder tensions. So the tensions from the profits one is mostly because of the market price pressures, and the staff want to higher salaries. Back again, it's like a well-being. They want to protect it. So the solution is mostly they negotiate between both parties. So if it doesn't work, then they search another alternative to make it work. And mostly, Miss Linney said that if they couldn't find another alternative, then the board or the shareholders will the one that decide which one that they will take. And for the other one is the non-profits one. So the tension is more like from their internal because of the different opinion between each other, and mostly it's from the elders and the younger generations. So yeah, how they overcome it is by discussing both side opinion and let the board decide. So the board is monks, younger generations representative, and also the elders representative, and the parent itself. So for the academic analysis, um, the Harrisons give the opinion that a great stakeholders management requires a collaboration to overcome the tensions that they created, or maybe that appears. And most of the tensions in the Sentosa, it's appear because of the competitions in the market, while the Buddhist is more internal because of they want to deliver the value, but everyone has a different value. So yeah. Meanwhile, the Buddhist community is facing missions market humidity tensions by Batila. So people there has their own different opinions, and they have to overcome it to get a better result by discussing both sides. So yeah. Question four: does the business have a responsibility to tackle social issues? For the profitability one, they don't have that because they're based in a small island, and also the company is like profit based, so they don't really take a look for the social issues. So the other one, for non-profit one, it's mostly to give like spiritual education to the younger generation. So yeah. So the academic analysis is that the Buddhist community is capturing the foundations of Bowen's CSR principle that explains that organizations have a moral obligation more than profitability of the company. And yeah, because of that, they started from the top of the pyramid, which is quite contrast with the fundamental of the CSR itself. So the next one is the uses of AI in the company. Private one, they use the AI for generating some small tasks such as email and also basic things, and they also consider to generate AI to their inventory and POS system. But the non-profit one, they don't use that right now, but they consider it to use that for the social media content. So for the academical analysis, the paper shows that it can give a lot of benefits to the company because it will increase the profitability, because AI can't replace some of the employees work, but by generating AI to the company system, it can raising a lot of concern. One of them is because like the algorithm is still biased and could create the job redundancy. It has checked it is the AI is biased or not. So yeah. And for the Sun School Damadipa, they want to generate content for their social media using AI. However, it can create an ethical concern because the authentications of the content itself. And also it's crossing the value of the organizations because, well, they cannot really verify it, that that content is authentically owned by them. So yeah. So the comparative analysis. The first one is stakeholders. For the profit-driven business, their key stakeholders is mostly like suppliers, customers, employee, and also shareholders, which is a very profitability-driven company. While the other one is the mostly about members of the community, parents, monks, and the temple advisor, as what I explained before. And for the priorities, mm, all the stakeholders for the profit-driven business, it's they tend to protect their personal well-being, while the other one it's they want to deliver the value of their spiritual to the organization itself. And the other one is the tensions. So the profit-driven business, the tension rise because of the market competitions, while the non-profit one is more internal because of the different opinions between each other. Next, CSR orientations. For the profit-driven business, they they start from the bottom of the CSR because they really prioritizing the profitability and then goes up. While the non-profit one, they start from the top to the bottom, so they don't really care about the profits of the company itself. AI implementation concern. Both of them has their concern about AI. For the profit-driven business, is mostly because of the algorithm and the biased behavior of the AI itself that can affect their company system. While the non-profit one, it's because of they cannot really verify the authentications of the content that AI generate later. Conclusion. So both company have their own different values that shows from the stakeholders, how they manage their companies or maybe organizations, how they overcome the problems inside, and the missions of the company itself. And yeah, that's all from me. And here's my reference. And thank you for watching.